Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a first look at our potential storm, which impacts are still a little bit to be determined. I don't think we're going to get the highest impact, certainly, from the storm that will happen. Those are going to happen more towards southeastern New England. But we could have some impact. So here's our first look at that storm for January, which is going to happen Friday night into Saturday. So let's take a look at where the storm is right now. And I do want to give you a warning about the storm here. It will get a lot of hype because anytime the big cities are going to potentially get snow, storms get a lot of hype in the media, certainly online if you follow other people on weather Twitter or things like that who cover more of the northeast. More people live obviously close to the coast in the northeastern United States. So when a storm is going to potentially bring snow there, that makes a huge impact. However, doesn't necessarily, usually when that happens, it means we actually don't get as much snow in southern Vermont, and that's going to be the case here as well. The impacts will be bigger the closer to the coast you get. We're going to get into all those details as we go through this. So here's our storm right now, or at least our upper level energy. You can see it doesn't actually look that impressive, although there's a lot of actual upper level energy here. As it comes across the Rockies, it's pretty much not really got much of a surface development, and it's kind of cut off for moisture now. However, it's going to dig across the southeastern United States, and that energy and moisture will happen. So let's take a look at kind of the bigger picture radar satellite over the eastern United States. We do have a pretty active southern jet stream. You can see we've got a little bit of energy here. We got some more energy pushing in from the southwest west of off the coast of the southwestern United States, and then we have some strung out moisture here. This is just looking for a trigger to kind of link up with some northern stream energy. Usually you got more energy, more moisture in the southern jet stream, often usually more energy in the northern jet stream. And the northern, so it's just looking for this energy up here. And so what's going to happen is this is going to swing through, and it's going to start to energize this moisture and create a surface low, which is really going to develop off the east coast here. Not really going to have a huge Gulf impact. That's part of what's also kind of impactful for us. Oftentimes we're looking for storms that kind of develop along the Gulf Coast and then ride up right along the coast for big snow here. This storm's going to develop off the coast, and then it really sort of depends. Is it going to take a slightly closer to the coast track or slightly more out to sea track? And so let's take a look at those, and we can talk about what the different impacts are going to be depending on these two tracks. So there's not a huge range in what it seems like the models want to do at this point. They're actually relatively close to each other, but they make a pretty big difference for us. This leftmost track, which I think is probably the less likely of the two, but definitely a possibility, brings really big snow to a lot of the East Coast cities, huge snow in Boston potentially, and it still would bring pretty significant impacts potentially to us as well, plowable snow at least. We're not talking like feet of snow here across southern Vermont, but we would be talking about a storm that would definitely impact travel on Saturday, and we'll get to the details there of that in a minute. This rightmost track, which goes even more offshore, would bring us some impacts, but pretty minimal, mostly just light snow, very light snow, potentially not even that much in the way of accumulation at all with this rightmost track or this easternmost track. If you're looking for this kind of storm, what we would really want for major impacts over the south, over southern Vermont would be actually, instead of tracking kind of southeast of Cape Cod, we want it to track kind of right over Cape Cod or even a little right over Boston. That's really where we get into the most significant snowfall for us here across southern Vermont. And right now, that looks very unlikely unless something changes pretty dramatically on the model maps. This will, however, be a very strong system. The upper level energy is very significant with this storm, and then it's got plenty of moisture, obviously, because it's out there over the ocean. So if the closer the storm comes to us, basically the bigger the impacts will be. There will be a strong storm that will be highly impactful for some people at least. So in terms of what we're looking at impact-wise across, let me move over here, across New England, basically this is with the westernmost track. And you can see here still we've got the most significant impact certainly across coastal New England, getting down to the edge out to eastern Long Island as well. But plowable snow definitely makes its way into southern Vermont, and we could see exactly how far west that gets. Could impact a lot of us here in southern Vermont with plowable snow. What's plowable snow? Usually more like 3 to 4 inches at least, if not a little bit more. And then light snow is sort of a coating to a couple inches, maybe 3-4 inches. That's what we'd be sort of thinking about. I'm not ready to put out an actual snowfall map yet, but that's sort of what we would be thinking about here. And I think the further north and west you go in southern Vermont, so if you're up in Rutland or Castleton, places like that, I think your impacts are likely, you're less likely to be impacted. If you're down in the Brattleboro area, this is one of those times where elevation probably won't matter a lot. Could matter a little bit, always matters a little bit, but elevation probably won't matter a lot. So if you're down in the Brattleboro, Dummerston, Northfield area, that's where you're going to have a chance to see more significant snow across southeastern Vermont. If we take the easternmost track, then the major impacts are really right along the coast. Boston is even on kind of the western fringe of those. And then we have plowable snow, which is kind of 495 and in across eastern Massachusetts and across kind of the eastern third of Maine. And then we've got light snow, which hardly even makes it into southern Vermont. I think we would see a little bit of snow there, but we'll have to wait and see if that eastern track ends up happening. And I do think this is probably the more likely of the true tracks at this point. So I don't think our impact's going to be that big, but I do think, obviously, the storm's been very much hyped up in the media, so I wanted to give you an idea of what was going on. So let's take a look at what we do know and what we don't know so far. Storm knowns. Storm will be very strong, but we will not see the most significant impacts. Precipitation will be all snow. I don't think there's going to be any issues with sleet or freezing rain. Finally, we don't have to worry about that for once here across southern Vermont. Snow starts Friday night after midnight. It would end by Saturday evening if we get it. If we're on the far western fringes, we'll probably just get off and on flurries for that, but we'll have to see. And then because of the coastal cities are getting snow, the storm is getting lots of online hype. In terms of what we don't know about the storm yet, exact track, how much snow we're going to get in southern Vermont, how impacted travel will be in southern Vermont. Again, with that western track, travel will be pretty nasty on Saturday. With the eastern track, most of us won't have much in the way of travel issues at all. And then will there be a sharp cutoff in snow accumulations from southeast to northwest across southern Vermont? A lot of times with these coastal storms, there does tend to be a pretty significant back edge to the storm, although not always. So we're going to have to that'll be hard to differentiate. So, and that'll depend on whether, even if it takes the eastern track, do we get a couple inches of kind of light fluffy snow on the back back here in southern Vermont, or do we just get completely shut out and just have a few flurries around? And that won't really be able to be determined probably till closer to the storm. A lot of times these storms do have a pretty sharp cutoff. So like, it wouldn't be surprising to see a place like North Adams, Massachusetts get 10 inches of snow, and even like Whitingham in southern Vermont only get like a couple of inches. That back edge tends to be pretty distinct. So we'll have to wait a little bit to try to figure that out. I'll be back tomorrow with an updated look. I'll have a snowfall forecast out for you tomorrow morning, and I would assume by then we'll have a better idea on track. Probably, hopefully, kind of narrow these two down. I'm sure there'll still be some things that are not completely locked in. That'll be about 48 hours before the storm starts. But otherwise, if you've got questions, ask them away on Facebook, or you can send me an email. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so. Make sure that you get all of my videos. And also, if you are interested in supporting financially what I do here at the West River Weather Guy, I appreciate my patrons. And here they are. And if you'd like to become a patron, and there are some benefits of that, you can log on to my patron page, which the link is below in the description. And it'll tell you how to do that and what benefits you get, and also just give you an opportunity to support the channel. So thank you. I appreciate all of the comments and everything everybody gives me when I get these videos out. And like I said, I will be back tomorrow with an updated forecast, and then Friday I'll be back with your weekend, with your normal weekend forecast, which will obviously focus mostly on the storm.